Subscribe or you'll be visited by the toll troll. What are some places in the US where the government will let me frig off and let me live in a container home like Pickerel? The Nevada desert. Until they find you. Just go live in the Appalachians with all the meth dealers and poor people. West Texas and northern Idaho both have counties with no building codes or zoning. In both places, there is a state requirement that you have some way of treating your sewage, so you will need to have a septic system. Beyond that, do whatever the heck you want, including living in a shipping container. If you think you're going to make it by hiding, you're not. If you feel threatened, then you should be accumulating like-minded prepper friends, not guns. Your gun is not going to save you. If you're white, then you're going to be expected to comply with the law wherever you go. If brown, they will leave you alone unless you are committing crimes against your neighbors. There is not a single place in the US where your local government will not force you to pay property taxes. My grandfather owned a house which was unsuitable for life or even storage, and so he said he didn't want to pay taxes on it. They told him he had to. He asked if he could burn it down, they said no. He burned it down. But heck no, we're Missouri. You have to build it underground so they can't see it and tax it. The problem with building underground is that the weight of the earth on top will be too heavy when you cover it up. A modern hard steel shipping container will cave in even if you bury it 2 to 3 feet deep. A triangular/a frame steel or dome-like structure might help with weight redistribution building underground. You will need pumps and a bunch of other stuff for sewage or an outhouse on top. If they can't see it, they can't tax it. Look into the code for wheeled homes. If the domicile is on wheels, I don't think you have to pay tax in certain states. It's when you put it on a foundation that it becomes a taxable home. A few years back, a guy in Montana snapped one day when his wife kept nagging him. He killed her and their children. The local government wasn't just surprised by the murders, they were surprised about the existence of the house. They had no idea that his property had ever been built on. An entire house, above ground, and the government had no clue it was there. Google has ruined that dream. Counties can now easily use a program that compares the latest Google Earth satellite view to a past one to check for new structure roofs, then they drive out and take pictures and bust your ass. Build round or ovaloid roof structures and use green roofs like grass, sedum, or moss. Make your building look like plant life. They should make an episode of Trailer Park Boys where they build a shed foundation for Bubbles and put a heck ton of caster wheels on it so he can skirt past the laws. Outside door of the escape tunnel looks like any other rock. Why live in a pod waiting for the government to come bother you when you can live under a rock and they won't ever bother you again? Start digging some tunnels, just make sure to use arches and be safe. Hide in some logs, they'll never think to look in some logs, bro. Just become a landlord grifter like everyone else. Yay, but what if you don't build it fast enough before the next satellite capture? The state of Massachusetts just passed the Affordable Housing Act last August and is going into full effect in February, where the state is basically pecker-blocking NIMBY Karens from abusing local zoning ordinances to keep people from putting these things on their properties. The technical term is ADU, accessory dwelling unit. You just need to find someone willing to let you put one on your property and connect to electricity and plumbing. Cities and insurance companies are using drones now to surveil properties for sheds/additions/other things to tax. My insurance tried to drop me this last year because of severe fire risk caused by all of the abandoned vehicles on the property. I'm a mechanic, this property is mixed zoning, and I legally operate my business out of it. All the abandoned cars are customer vehicles, and not a one had been there more than a week when they showed me the aerial photos of the abandoned vehicles. Silly heads. Southern Illinois. Ruby Ridge. Buy some commercial property, run a business in the front, live in the back. Just make sure you've got an off-site P.O. box and buy everything under an LLC or have it all in your mom's name. Doesn't know about business personal property tax. Businesses get effed harder in every hole on taxes and regulations. Every pencil and coffee cup is taxable property in a business and is required to be reported yearly. I have an idea I'd like to share. As you may know, none of us really know what it'd be like to live in a container/trailer/etc. Until you actually do it, and that shock might be too much for you, but I thought of a way to experience it before diving in. In your bedroom, arrange your stuff imagining you only have a fraction of that space available. Take the floor dimensions of whatever container you'd want to live in and force yourself to only use that amount of space wherever you are now. See if you're satisfied living with that little space or if it'll drive you crazy. Underground. Why would you want to live inside a container? Literally any trailer park.